Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. This week we're going coast to coast, East Coast to West Coast, and back and forth with several videos coming your way. We're tracking the 2024 Breeders' Cup, and the location of that track this year will be Delmar Raceway. So the FanDuel Racing Pacific Classic will be run there on Saturday. Bob Baffert has been teasing us, and after the post draw, I am disappointed because he had indicated that he was going to run Muth, and so he decides to go ahead and race him on Sunday in a garbage 125K shared belief stakes, not even graded. So I get it now because he's running a Dare Manor, which is his filly, which is the top filly in the country on dirt, older wise. So I would want to separate between Torpedo Anna because they're kind of two different divisions. But last week, speaking of Torpedo Anna, she took on the boys and did an awesome job coming home in a flurry for a close second place finish. Now we got another lady looking to make her mark. So thank you for joining me so much. Viewer support is very important to my channel. So be sure to be subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button. And while you're there, click on that like button as well. Of course, comments are always welcome and especially encouraged. Give me your best bets, your picks, anything you want to talk about, suggestions for future shows, all that kind of stuff works. So let's get it started. Okay, race number 10 at Delmar on Saturday is going to be the mile and a quarter Pacific Classic, Grade 1, purse is $1 million, sponsored by FanDuel Racing. We start with number 1, Il Miracolo. That's trained by Antonio Sano. Mike Smith rides back-to-back 100 Brisnet speed figures. Really like the way this horse just shows up almost every race. You can see only been off the board this one time in the Pacific World Invitational. That one earlier this year was in a hot, steamy Florida. There was lots of horses that bailed out, got a little bit of bump early. So there were several horses that came back off that race and did well, bounced back in the GP mile for third, then won the Ghost Zapper, and then third by 4 lengths on Oaks Day in the slop in the Ali Sheba. Then was very close to winning this Philip Island Stakes, but he got blitzed by actually the guy riding the horse, Mike Smith, aboard the 6 horse, which is, I believe, Subsandador, or I'm not really sure how that's pronounced, but that's the horse that won the race. But that was Mike Smith riding, so was unable to run him down after he got the drop on him in the far turn. Doesn't get a lot of respect, but he shows up most of the time, like I said. So I'm definitely going to be backing Il Miracolo. And then number 2, there goes Harvard, probably not backing. Just really not really, just lackluster, and running in some good races. A lot of times these horses, their connections just really want to pay the freight and put them in whatever race they want to run them in. But I'm not looking to back. There goes Harvard. Dr. Venkman is one that is an interesting one. Won the San Diego Handicap going a mile and a 16th. Got out there and definitely took Arabian Night to task, arresting control at the 3/4 pole and taking home the victory. But I do have to wonder a bit about the distance of 10 furlongs because he's run nothing but one-turn sprints in his career leading up to this July 27th mile and a 16th route. So I imagine they liked what they saw at going a mile and a 16th and are confident enough. Mark Glatt as a trainer is no joke. I like Mark Glatt out on the West Coast. Antonio Frigiu amongst the best at Delmar, jockey-wise. So I would say Sired by Ghost Zapper should have some stamina in him, but I don't know if I need to see it first. That's going to be likely my take. Next up, talk about wanting to see it first. Reincarnate from Bob Baffert. Kazushi will ride. and just disappointment after disappointment. Won the Los Alamitos Derby last July, but really the Derby Trail was unimpressive. A couple of third place finishes to get qualified, more than likely, and then just was nowhere to be found. Tried to be a bit of a front runner, but not fast enough. Just the early speed, not there. The late speed, just none of these figures you can see has yet to hit 100 Brisnet number in any race. So out on that one. Katona is an interesting one. I believe this one ran a 102 in the second place finish in the San Diego handicap behind Dr. Bankman. But that was the first start of 2024, going all the way back a year to where the Pleasanton Mile, which he won. So a little bit average win distance is maybe it's an exception to the rule. So I don't know if 6.5, 6.7, that's more like the mile distance and maybe just a mile and a 16th. So 10 furlongs might be pushing it for this one. But as good as he looked going down the stretch with a 98 figure, chasing Dr. Venkman, I think the added distance might be just fine for Katona. Horses are trained differently and they develop differently. So just because the average win distance of the sire is a little less doesn't mean that this horse is not going to be able to get there. So interesting live long shot, in my opinion. Okay, next up is number 6, Full Serrano. That's trained by John Sadler. Ray Gutierrez has got the mount. 5-year-old by way of Argentina came over to Delmar and won at first asking, running a really fast. You can see plus 20, plus 17. Really fast, 21-2, 44-4, going a mile and pulling away pretty much at the end. Hector Barrios rides that one. So I think with and I point this out from time to time, the average win distance, which is the sire, the I believe it's like 6.5 or something like that, is like your median. So anything from 6 to 6, anything from 6 to 7, I lean more toward a sprint type horse. 7.2, 7.5 and up, I start to see more stamina and more distance. So you can see this big 8.5, and then you have a 6.8 on the dam sire side. So that tells me that this horse is bred to run longer distances. So I'm going to be looking for that. And you can see at the previous races, mile and a quarter, mile and a quarter, mile and a quarter. So wins second by a nose. So this horse is going to be an interesting sleeper because horses that come over from Argentina, I don't really know that they get a whole lot of love. And the one race under his belt, probably going to go overlooked, 8th in prime power. So we could get some big odds. I'm not saying he's going to win the race, but possibility of crashing the board and setting us up with a nice payout. So Full Serrano is going to be on the live long shot type list. So eligible and improved, pretty high percent trained. John Sadler, can't mess around with John Sadler. So I like that one. And here's, of course, your favorite, the filly, Adair Manor, Bob Effort, Juan Hernandez. What can you say? Stars galore, bullet points on the left side, always good. Dominated the Hirsch. Dominated previously. Apple Blossom, all pretty much straight up wins. I kind of liked how he kind of rated a little bit, or she, I'm sorry. She rated a little bit in this last one and then struck down the stretch. So she may have to do that again in this one, but it is a fast Delmar track. So she showed she could do it before. I like that. So here we go again. They're going to try to beat the filly this time. And she is clear cut above the rest. She's almost 10 points higher in prime power than the rest of the field. So that's a scary thought to say the least. And then the last two, I don't know if I have a whole lot to say. I do kind of like a little bit Jorge Paraban, and this is Jeremy Laprida, none above the law. Really downgrade. You can see Frigiu rode this horse the last 2 times in these Blackened Stakes races. The nice win at a mile and then a closing third. Got too far back, had to alter mid-stretch. Really a bit of a troubled trip, but I like the turf to dirt produced a win. So we're going turf to dirt once again for a 20% trainer on turf to dirt. Sharp workout. So all that kind of good stuff. Jockey is a bit of a concern, only one win in 39 starts, but I think that horse is not going to win the race. So likely picking up the pieces down the stretch with a closing effort is the way I see it. And Mixed I don't see anything here for Doug O'Neill. The speed's not there. Whenever you just see a mountain of bullet points on the left side, we'll go ahead and toss that horse. So let's get over here and finalize our selections and get on out of here. Okay, I am to put a bow on this one. Like I said, it's disappointing the number of these large 7-figure purses that have small or weak fields or both. Adair Manor is 10 points higher in prime power rating than the next. Won't be surprised if she wins going away. I'm going to back number 1, Il Miracolo. I like that horse. I think he shows up every time. I think he's due. And I also, I'm going to back Full Serrano in third. I think I'll use those 3 actually, probably maybe just go 2. I am going to do a late pick 5 video for Delmar this weekend. So I haven't decided how much I'm going to spread there, but it's going to be obviously at least 2. I'm going to go Il Miracolo and then Adair Manor on top, and then throw a few live long shots underneath. Like I mentioned, Full Serrano, None Above the Law. Katona looked really good in his debut. So we'll see if they can come back and get her done there. So that's going to do it for the preview of the Pacific Classic this Saturday at Delmar Racetrack. Stay tuned for lots more content coming. We got Saratoga racing to cover and another couple of videos to go. So be subscribed, stay engaged, like, comment, share on social media. Billy Ho Sports. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you soon.